Hello there guys, and welcome to this Explain 11 video. Finally, the IXEG 737 receives its Explain 11 compatibility update. So I thought this is a good opportunity to do a full flight aboard the IXEG 737 from Dusseldorf, Germany to Vienna. The scenery that you're seeing on the screen is that of Just Sim. And let me tell you, it's a beautiful recreation of Dusseldorf, Germany. There is a version available for P3D as well, and it is available on the Explain.org web store for immediate purchase. So without further ado, let us go ahead and prepare the aircraft for our departure. A little bit of information about our flight today. We're going to be cruising at a final altitude of 33,000 feet. We're going to be departing Dusseldorf runway 5 right, and we're going to be doing an ILS approach at Vienna runway 34, and the approximate flight time is 1 hour and 45 minutes. Alright, time to prepare the aircraft for departure. The first thing we want to do is we want to load up the fuel. We need about 14,000 pounds of fuel, so let's go ahead and set that, and we'll say instant, and you know what? I'll leave everything else just as it is. It's fine. That's our trim, center of gravity. All looks good to me. All right. So the first thing we'll do is battery on. Emergency lights are armed. And let's go ahead and test. That's okay. And that's also fine. Okay. Everything looks okay for starting the APU. Left forward fuel pump is on, and let's go ahead and start the APU. Alright, looks like the APU is now available. Let's go ahead and head over to the overhead panel. First thing, we're going to align the IRS. Okay, and let's go ahead and test stall warning test right there. We'll test the flight recorder. Appears to be okay. Overspeed test. Everything appears to be okay. Let's move down here. Everything appears to be alright here. We'll turn the galley power on. Everything's fine here. We'll turn on the passenger seatbelt signs. Everything here is fine. We'll turn on the window heat. And this guy can go to the on position. Everything here is fine. Recirc fans can go to auto. We'll put the left pack on auto. And the isolation valve is open. And we can turn off the engine bleeds and turn on the APU bleed. The final altitude today is 33,000 feet. So we'll make sure our cabin is pressurized. Okay, and everything else appears to be okay here. Alright, let's go ahead now and program the FMC. Everything checks okay. This is version 1.2. This is the latest nav database. Let's go to position initialization. We are at Echo Delta Delta Lima. And we'll go to the second page, grab the GPS position. And we'll go to route. Origin is Dusseldorf and the destination is Vienna. Flight number today is a fictitious flight number. We'll just put something here. And the runway, departure runway, is 05 right. There we go. And now let's go ahead and enter our SIDS and stars. Departure, runway 5 right, and we're gonna be departing through I can't see the proper SID. Alright, let me go ahead and, so that's our SID right there. Alright, there we go. And into arrival into Vienna, we're going to be arriving through the Massive 2 Whiskey star, and we're going to do full ILS runway 34 through the Nair 4 November transition. And let's go to route, activate, and execute. Let's go to the next page, and now we can enter our the rest of our plan. So let me consult. So first thing, we're going to take airway Yankee 853 to Bombay. Yankee 853 to Bombay. And then from there, we're going to take Uniform Lima 984 to Osbit. Uniform Lima 984 to Osbit. Oops. There we go. And then we're going to take Uniform Zulu 205 to Lular. Uniform Zulu 205 to Lular. And from there, we're going to take Zulu 205 to Abudu. Zulu 205 to Abudu. There we go. And then Zulu 37 to Gimbo. Zulu 37 to Gimbo. There we go. And finally, we're going to do direct to Maser. So we're just going to copy this guy over here and execute. So now we pretty much have the flight plan ready. Let's just go ahead and make sure everything looks okay, which it does. There are no discos. And once the IRS is aligned, we will check the plan as well. Alright, let's go ahead and enter the performance data. Performance right over here. So let's bring up the ground services to grab the information. So we have a total gross weight of 96.4. 96.4. And the reserves, we'll just say 1. Cost index according to the flight plan is 7. And cruise altitude is 330. Execute. Alright, so I don't think we need to derate, so I'll just leave this as it is. Takeoff 20 for center of gravity, 20%. That gives us a trim of 3.6, and these are V1, V-rotate, and V2. Very well, so we are now done with the FMC. Let's go ahead and put the data here. So altitude is 33,000 feet, and the V2 is 130 knots. There we go. Flight directors, we'll turn those on, and now pretty much everything is ready for engine start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the iris to align. So let's see how much time, if I can get my views right. There we go. Okay, so 3 minutes before the iris is fully aligned. So I'll see you guys in just a bit as soon as the iris is aligned. The iris is now aligned, so let's go ahead and switch to plan. And let's go over our flight plan here real quick. Everything looks fine to me. Yep, everything looks perfectly fine. So we'll switch back to the legs page and we'll put this on map. There we go, and this needs to go to VHF1. Alright, so everything appears to be okay. It looks like we are now ready for engine start. I'm not sure why I don't get the altitudes here. And it looks like we're not going to have VNAV, so we're going to just stay at 250 knots until we're able to engage VNAV. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Everything appears to be okay here, and let's go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. And everything else is okay. Let's call the pushback truck and let's get out of here. Ground services. And we're going to do nose to the right. Okay, let's release the parking brake. And pushback is now started. We can go ahead and start our engines. We'll start with the engine number 2 first. Before we do so, we need to turn off the pack. Yep, now it should work. There we go, engine spooling. And let's give it some fuel. We actually forgot to turn on the position and anti-collision lights. So we'll do that now. And the altimeter is set to 3000 or 1016 millibars. Alright, and now we can start the engine number 1. There we go. And the engine is spooling now. Right, and let's go ahead and start the engine number 1. I'm still not very familiar with my own views. Okay. Alright, so let's see here. So we have a good start on both engines. Both can go to continuous. And yaw damper, we'll turn that on. Everything else here, okay, generators are fine now. Everything else is okay here. Pitos can go to the on position, and we can turn the hydraulic pumps. Everything's fine here. Now pack, this one can go to auto, and the isolation valve can go to auto as well. And now we can turn on the engine bleeds and turn off the APU bleed, and we can turn off the APU. Right, runway turn-off lights and taxi lights are on, and the wing and wheel well lights are also on, and we are now ready to taxi to runway 5 right for departure. Okay. But before we do so, actually I almost forgot, we need to put this on rejected takeoff, and we need to set our flaps 5 for departure. And we need to double check our trim to make sure that it's 3.6. So let me just quickly check that. Almost. Yep. So everything is okay now, and we're ready to taxi. So let's go ahead and head over to runway 5 right for departure. Parking brake is released. I really like this scenery by Jussim. They produce really very high fidelity scenery for X-Plane, and they started on producing scenery for P3D as well. And let me tell you, this particular airport looks actually very good in P3D as well. Very FPS friendly. I highly recommend it if you like flying in and out of Germany. Well, it looks like we are number 3 for departure. There are a couple of aircraft ahead of us, so we're going to have to wait for them to clear the runway, and then we're going to line up for departure. Alright, I think we can proceed now to the hold short position, runway 5 right. Okay, let's go ahead and configure the aircraft for departure. Taxi can go off, and logo on, strobes can go on. Everything else here is fine. All the lights are okay now for departure. We'll arm the auto throttle, and we are pretty much ready to go. Let's just make sure there are no incoming aircraft. So let's see here. I think we're good to go. Release the parking brake. Alright, and we are now lined up with the runway. Look at those runway textures. Wow, they look beautiful. Alright, let's go. And toga. V1, rotate. Says flight plan is not filed. That's a positive rate of climb. Gear is going up. And I'm going to adjust the speed now to 250 knots. Right, I think at this point we can begin retracting the flaps, and we can also turn off the put the landing gear in the off position. Let's go ahead and do LNAV, engage the autopilot. I don't think that we have VNAV. Yep, VNAV is not working yet. We continue our climb to 33,000 feet, and as you can see, the VNAV isn't available yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to maintain 250 knots, which is the maximum speed below 10,000 feet. Until we reach the point where we can engage VNAV, and then we'll let the FMC take care of the aircraft speed. Everything appears to be okay. We're climbing steadily to our final cruising altitude, and there isn't really anything that is out of the ordinary at the moment. All aircraft systems are operational as per design intent. So I will see you guys right at 33,000 feet. Until then, please enjoy the flight, and I will see you in just a little while. Welcome back, guys. We are now at our final cruise altitude of 33,000 feet. I did engage VNAV, and I did notice that there might be a problem with the TD calculation, the top of descent calculation. So according to the flight plan here, we are going to begin the descent somewhere at Macer. Now from Macer, if you add up all we need to be, let's see, we are at 33,000, we need to be, the first restriction is 6,000, so that's 27,000 feet. So 27 times 3 would be 51. Yep, that's 51. So 51 plus 10 is 61. So we need to begin the descent at 61 nautical miles. At 61 nautical miles, let's see how much we've got here. So there is 7, 9, 14, 24, 29, 39, 49, 59. We might be okay to begin the descent here at Macer. Yeah, we'll find out. It might be okay. The only thing is, in the flight plan, in the SimBrief flight plan, it's showing the beginning of the descent here at Abudu, or the end of Abudu, the beginning of Bodix. So we will assess as we go on. And a couple of housekeeping items, guys. One is the comments. So I've been receiving a lot of comments, and I know that I haven't been able to respond to all of them, and that's strictly due to the volume. I will never intentionally ignore any comment or message, just that the number of comments I've been receiving, the number of emails I've been receiving, whether through the website or the channel, has been really overwhelming, and I am doing my absolute best to respond to each and every comment and email. It is something that I've took upon myself when I started the channel. I think it is something that is part of the channel, so I am definitely trying my very best to respond to all your comments. I did start using epoxy.tv, which is part of the BBTV offering, for partnering with them. Essentially, it is a web application that allows you to kind of unify all your social media accounts into one place, and that has really helped me a lot, because I receive a lot of comments on the channel itself, and then I receive things on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. So this platform really helps me to kind of get all the comments in one place. I still have the emails that come through the channel or directly through the website, so I'm kind of having a hard time responding to everything in a reasonably timely manner. So I'm definitely working on that. I do want to thank you guys very much for your support and your loyalty to the channel. 15,000 might be a small number, but to me it's a very big number. It's very significant, and I've been now on YouTube for just under 3 years now, and I'm really very happy to where this channel is going. I never really envisaged having this many number of people follow me and support me, so I do want to thank you very much for your support and loyalty. Another housekeeping item, recently I've noticed that some folks are posting links to pirated software or cracked version of X-Plane, P3D, or some of the aircraft. Now, guys, I cannot tell you how much I resent that, and I will never endorse or recommend or tolerate anyone posting comments to pirated software. For one, I think this is an unethical thing to do. I think it is unfair to the developers who work very hard to produce this content, and some of those developers, I know a few who actually make a living out of developing software for the flight sim community, and that's their only source of income, as a matter of fact. So please do not post any comments of this sort on the channel, or otherwise I will have to immediately remove them, and repeated violations will be reported for sure. Alright, so that's it for now. We are at 33,000. Everything appears to be okay. So I will see you guys at top of descent, maybe 30 nautical miles before top of descent, or if I decide to descent before the actual calculated TD, then I'll be sure to let you guys know. Enjoy the flight. Welcome back, guys. It looks like we're going to need to descend right after we pass Gimbo. And the reason why is we are still about 64 nautical miles from the top of descent. So that will take us all the way to Nerdo. And at Nerdo, there isn't really enough distance for us to clear 27,000 feet. So it looks like there is some kind of a miscalculation here in the FMC. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the approach reference, and let's see here. That's our ILS and course, so let's set those to 108.10. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, 108.10. And we're going to do flaps 30 for our approach today, and we're going to add 5 knots for wind correction. That will give us a final approach speed today of 126 knots. So we're going to do flaps 30 and 126 knots. Okay, and right after we pass Gimbo here, I'm going to begin our descent. So I will go ahead and reset the MCP altitude now to 6,000. Alright, that's 6,000 feet. And just 2.2 in about 2 nautical miles, we will begin our descent. Yeah, definitely right here, we're definitely not going to have enough distance to clear 33,000 feet. All right, I think we're good now. We can go ahead and go level change, and we're going to go ahead and descent now to 6,000 feet. We continue our descent to 6,000 feet, which is the first restriction, and I think it was a good call to begin the descent when we did. Everything appears to be okay now. We are at 14,000. We need to clear another 8,000 feet, so we should be just fine now. Alright folks, we are now at 6,000 feet. That's Vienna Airport right there. And I think at this point we're going to go ahead and set things up for our approach. So the first thing I want to do is I want to reduce our speed to 220 knots. Alright, that's 220 knots. And let's go ahead and grab the altimeter real quick. So that's Vienna. And the altimeter is 3006. Alright, at this point, we're going to begin the descent to 3000. So we'll set this to about 1,000 feet per minute for our vertical speed. Alright, now it is time to engage the approach button. And we have captured the localizer. Alright, let's go ahead and set the speed brake to 2. Sorry, that's the auto brake. The speed brake is now armed. And we will maintain 3,000 feet until the glide slope is active. Alright, now the needle started moving. So what I'll do is I'm going to reduce our speed to about 170 knots. And now we'll go to 150 knots. And we're going to select gear down. Go flaps 15. And the glide slope is now active. Let me check our speed. So 126 is our final approach speed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to 140 and flaps 25. Alright, and let's go to 126 knots and flaps 30. Everything looking good. And let's see here. Let me adjust the throttle. There we go.
1,000.
1,000 feet to go. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot.
$400. 300. Minimum. 100. 50. 40. 30, 20, 10.
Reversers are out. Alright, captains, let's go ahead and take a look at our landing. Let me just stop the aircraft right over here. Well, guys, the unexpected happened, and X-Plane 11 unfortunately crashed during the replay. I do apologize for that. I sure do hope that you guys have found this video to be fun and enjoyable. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. And until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.